The idea of a blind date had always seemed like a gamble I wasn't eager to take. When my coworker Danny suggested setting me up with her amazing friend for Valentine's Day, I laughed it off. Blind dates weren't my scene, especially not on a night saturated with forced romance, couples gazing into each other's eyes over overpriced steaks, clinking glasses in a haze of candlelight. But Danny was persistent, her enthusiasm infectious. "She's hilarious, brilliant, and drop-dead gorgeous," she said, nudging me with a grin during a slow moment at the restaurant where we worked. "Come on, Jake, one dinner. What's the worst that could happen? You'll have a funny story to tell." After a grueling shift serving love-struck diners, her logic started to wear me down. Maybe I'd surprise myself. Maybe this could be fun. That was my first mistake. My second was not pressing for details. Who was this woman and how did Danny know her? I should have asked more questions, but instead, I agreed, letting curiosity override caution. The restaurant was a cozy Italian spot in Chicago's River North, tucked away on a quiet street. Dimly lit, it smelled of roasted garlic, fresh rosemary, and warm bread straight from the oven. The ambiance was intimate, with soft jazz playing in the background and candlelight flickering on every table. It was the kind of place that screamed first date, romantic but not ostentatious. I arrived early, nerves buzzing, and texted Danny to confirm I was there. She replied with a string of excited emojis, which did little to ease the knot in my stomach. Then Maya walked in. She was striking, sharp cheekbones framed by sleek, dark hair pulled into a high ponytail, her red lipstick a bold contrast to her crimson dress. She moved with confidence, her smile warm but calculated like she'd practiced it in a mirror. For a fleeting moment I thought maybe Danny was right. Maybe this wouldn't be a disaster. We ordered drinks, red wine for her, a craft beer for me, and the conversation flowed easily. She laughed at my sarcastic quips about the restaurant, industry, asked about my job as a server, and shared stories about her own life. She said she worked in marketing, though her answers were frustratingly vague, skating over specifics like she was reading from a script she hadn't fully memorized. The first crack in the evening came when she stirred her wine, her eyes glinting in the candlelight. "You must be wiped after closing last night," she said casually. I froze, my glass halfway to my lips. "How'd you know I closed?" asked, trying to keep my tone light. She giggled, a sound that felt too practiced. "Danny mentioned it." It was a plausible explanation, but something about her delivery, the way her eyes flicked away for a split second, set my nerves on edge. I brushed it off, chalking it up to paranoia, and steered the conversation to safer territory. Family. I mentioned my younger brother, how he'd just started college and was navigating dorm life. "Oh, at Loyola, right?" she said, her smile widening. My stomach twisted. I hadn't told her the name of his school. "How'd you know that?" I asked, my voice tighter than I intended. She tilted her head, her expression playful, almost teasing. "You posted about it? That picture of you helping him move in? So cute," my mind raced. That photo was months old, buried deep in my Instagram feed, barely noticed by anyone. I hadn't even tagged the location. The unease I'd been suppressing surged to the surface, but I forced a smile, trying to regain control of the conversation. I asked about her hobbies, hoping to shift the mood, but then she mentioned my favorite coffee shop, a small independent place I went to almost daily. "You always get the same thing," she said, her voice almost sing-song. "Large black coffee, no sugar, and you sit by the window scrolling through your phone." I laughed, but it was hollow. "Have we met before?" I asked, half joking, half desperate for an explanation. "I've seen you there," she said, her eyes locking onto mine. "A lot." The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. She described my routine with unnerving precision, how I fidgeted with my phone while waiting for my order, the way I always took the same route home, past the old laundromat and my apartment building. My heart pounded. These weren't things Danny could have told her. These were details only someone watching me would know. I glanced at my phone. searching for an excuse to leave. The air in the restaurant felt thicker, the candlelight casting long shadows that seemed to creep closer. "You think you're hard to follow," Maya said suddenly, her voice dropping to a whisper. She leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand, her eyes glinting with something I couldn't name. "You're not." That was it, I was done. My chair scraped against the floor as I stood, muttering something about an early shift. The waiter appeared, asking if we wanted another round, but I waved him off, already pulling on my jacket. Maya didn't move. She just sighed, leaning back in her chair, her expression almost disappointed. "I knew you'd try to run," she said, her voice calm but laced with menace. My stomach lurched. I stepped back, nearly colliding with the waiter. "What did you say?" I asked, my voice shaking. She stood slowly, smoothing her dress with deliberate care. "You always leave places early, always take the long way home." "How long have you been watching me?" I demanded, my voice louder than I intended. Heads turned from nearby tables, but Maya didn't flinch. She just stared at me, her smile fading into something colder. "You're overthinking this," she said, as if I were the one being unreasonable. I turned and walked out, the cool night air hitting me like a slap. My hands trembled as I pulled out my phone, texting Danny. "Who the hell is Maya?" Her reply came quickly. "What do you mean? You guys were hitting it off." I typed back, my fingers fumbling. "No, she knows things about me, personal things. My coffee spot, my brother's college." Danny's response was hesitant. "That's weird, but maybe she saw it online." I wanted to believe her, but my gut screamed otherwise. As I stood on the sidewalk, scanning the crowd for any sign of Maya, my phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. "Running doesn't help, you know." My mouth went dry. I spun around, searching the faces of passers-by. Tourists, couples, a group of friends laughing as they spilled out of a bar. No Maya, no one watching. I bolted home, my footsteps echoing. On the pavement, the city's hum fading into a dull roar in my ears. Once inside my apartment, I locked the door, checked the windows, and sank onto the couch, my heart still racing. For days, I barely slept. The texts kept coming, each one more unsettling than the last. "You left so fast." I wasn't done talking. "Then you always take 8th Street home, but not tonight. Smart. And finally, I'll see you soon." I blocked the number, changed my routine. New coffee shop, different routes home, avoiding the laundromat. I thought it was enough. But a week later, Danny pulled me aside at work, her face pale. She came in again, she whispered. Asked where you were. I told her you had the night off, and she just smiled. Like she already knew. That night, nothing happened. No texts, no sign of her. Days passed, then weeks. I started to believe she'd moved on. I let my guard down, convincing myself it was over. Then, one night after a late shift, I saw her again. The cold February, air bit through my jacket as I walked home, my breath clouding in front of me. I was almost at my building when I spotted a figure near the entrance, standing under the streetlight. At first, I thought it was a neighbor, but as I got closer, I saw the red dress, the sleek ponytail. She wasn't facing me. She was staring up at my apartment window. My stomach twisted into knots. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back, but I was too close. She had to have seen me. I gritted my teeth, kept my head down, and walked past, pretending not to notice her. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, her silhouette burned into my mind. I slipped inside, bolted up the stairs, and locked my apartment door, pressing myself against it, listening for any sound. Nothing. 2 nights later, I woke to my phone vibrating on the nightstand. A notification, an airdrop request, one photo. The name attached was unfamiliar, but my gut told me it was her. I swiped it away, but another appeared, then another. My hands shook as I turned off my phone, lying in the dark, ears straining for any noise outside my window. The street was silent, but the silence felt alive, watching. A week later, Danny called with news that made my blood run cold. Maya wasn't her friend. She was a regular at the restaurant, one of those customers who blended into the background, always sitting alone, always watching. She'd asked Danny to set us up after weeks of quiet observation, manipulating her way into my life. Danny dug deeper and found out Maya had done this before, stalked another guy, inserted herself into his world, and when he rejected her, she'd vandalized his car, left notes on his doorstep. It got so bad he moved across the country. I went to the police, but there wasn't much they could do. No crime had been committed yet. A restraining order wouldn't stop someone like her. So I changed everything. Deleted my social media, moved to a new apartment, took different routes home every night. I never agreed to another blind date, and I never heard from Maya again. But sometimes in the reflection of a storefront window or the flicker of a train door, I swear I see her, just for a second, watching.